I have been doing a series on Thomas Jefferson, the first in my 5-part series for PragerU. My videos called The Making of America are now up at prageru.com. You can watch them individually or watch them together. I want to move today and begin my examination of Alexander Hamilton. But it occurred to me that this is, in a sense, not easy to do, because what Hamilton did for America is he helped make America the commercial, free market, prosperous, abundant society that unfortunately today many of us take for granted. I try not to take it for granted. And see, today when we talk about capitalism, we talk about, in a sense, you could almost call it the problems of abundance. We're such a rich country, and so why can't everybody get a free education? We're such a rich country, so why can't everybody get free healthcare? Simply to want something almost establishes in some people's minds a right to it. And in doing that, they are presuming a large pie. They're presuming that there is plenty to go around. They're presuming not a near infinity of resources that they can, in a sense, just claim just by showing up, so to speak. I have a right to this simply by virtue of the fact that I'm here and I'm an American. So it's very difficult for us to imagine a world of scarcity, a world in which America was largely made up of, you may say, farms and villages. It was not cities and the country, it was all the country. In the time of Alexander Hamilton, there were no large cities. Even the so-called cities were nothing more than what we would today call medium-sized towns. And this was true even to some degree in Europe, even places like London and Paris. Although they were more advanced as cities, they still weren't the kind of prosperous cities that we identify with today. And today, of course, we have those cities all over the world. So Hamilton helped make America the way it is. And we take the way it is so much for granted. We don't think about it, that the magnitude of his accomplishment becomes diminished, becomes camouflaged. So I actually want to talk about the world kind of before Hamilton, to show that prior to Hamilton, before the middle of the second part of the 18th century, the world operated on a completely different principle than it does now. It operated not on the principle of wealth creation. In fact, the whole idea that wealth could be created was considered a little bit crazy. How do you create wealth? I mean, think of it this way. If I'm going to school and I have 10 marbles in my pocket, basically the way I look at it is I've got 10 marbles, and if I come home and I've got 15 marbles, that's because I won or I took somebody else's marbles. If I end up with 6 marbles, it's because I gave away or somebody forcibly extracted from me 4 marbles. But I don't know a way, no one really does, at least among the young people, to make more marbles. Marbles is a zero-sum game. Now, this is the point, that historically wealth was considered a zero-sum game. Why? Because wealth was largely in land. And so more land for you means less land for me. The other thing about it, and this seems a little bit strange, is conquest was the normal way, the expected way that people acquired wealth. Essentially, you got something by beating up some other guy and taking it. And that was true really all over history. Think even, for example, about the tribal warfare. One tribe raids another tribe. That's how it gets stuff. Think about even the Old Testament, where the victory of Israel over its enemies is great. The Israelis are able to gain their independence or seize land. And if their enemies win, they take the land of the Israelites. It's almost like a football game. More points for you, less points for the other side. This is the meaning of a zero-sum game. On top of that, not only is conquest the way of the world, conquest is considered to be ethical in a sense that trade is not. This seems like a really surprising point, but it's really not. Conquest is considered to be brave, manly. You're taking on someone in open combat. You're gaining booty through struggle. There's a kind of heroism to it, a valor to it. Trade is considered to be kind of disgusting, low. Let me give you a few examples of this. Here's Confucius in the Analects, showing that this is a global viewpoint. The virtuous man knows what is noble. The low man knows what is profitable. In Japan, The social hierarchy puts the imperial family at the top, then the lords, then the warriors, then the samurai, then the farmers and artisans, and below them, the merchants. In India, the caste system, the same. The merchant is one step above the hated untouchable. Again, under the priests and under the kings and under the warriors, the merchant is really a kind of low-life scum. And the achievement of America is to kind of invert the social hierarchy, to move the entrepreneur from the bottom rung of the ladder or near the bottom to the top, to build a whole society on invention and trade. There really are very few kind of world-changing inventions. Fire is one of them. The wheel is another. The invention of agriculture is a third. But America is a society based on one of the most important, maybe the most important invention of all time, which is the invention of wealth creation, the invention of invention, the invention of finding a way to take 10 marbles and making it 15 marbles without taking somebody else's marbles. And Alexander Hamilton played a critical role in making America that kind of society. The way he did it, I'm going to take up tomorrow.